Fine. What's your question?
Yes. Where's the proof of the waste, fraud, and abuse that is the catchphrase, and also the abuse of people on Medicaid who are allegedly able-bodied and able to work? Where's the proof of all of that? You guys always have, plenty to say about that, and those catchphrases just keep coming out. But if there is fraud particularly, why aren't people being prosecuted for that? And why aren't we made aware of that? And also, I don't appreciate your vilification of single mothers. I'm a single mother, and I do
when
work.
Just
listen, please. I want to finish this because
okay.
you have a hostile tone in your voice about that, about Democrats. I'm also a Democrat, by the way. I actually listen to both sides, and I make my own decisions about whatever. I was a teacher. You forever are talking about how education is so poorly done and whatever, which also vilifies teachers, by the way. The way you express yourself. Like, how about just coming up with solutions instead of blaming everybody else for what's going on? So you can take that at however you want.
Well, first of all, Melinda, I don't ever recall vilifying single moms. I have nothing but sympathy for how they struggle. Again, I just don't agree with how you've typified my comments here. In terms of waste, fraud, and abuse, I'm glad you asked me. I've already laid out it, but I'll do it again. Traditional Medicaid, designed for vulnerable mothers, disabled children, was set up for every dollar the state spends on a disabled child, the federal government kicks in $1.33. Again, that is a system that seems to make sense. The states are going to administer it. Not the federal government, states do, but they need significant skin in the game to control cost, to control eligibility, so it doesn't grow out of control. Okay? Obamacare's addition to it incentivized states to sign up single, able-bodied, working-age, childless adults. Because for every dollar the state spends for that, the federal government kicks in $9. Now, it's legalized fraud. So what the states have done, based on that incentives, they've done things like provider taxes and provider fees. That's not health care. But the federal government then has to reimburse for provider fees, provider taxes, $9 for every 10 spent. Okay, 9-to-1 match. Again, that is causing Medicaid costs to explode, and we can't afford it. Plus, the Biden administration allowed providers to charge commercial rates for Medicaid procedures, which means we're paying 2 or 3 times Medicare rates for Medicaid procedures, same procedure, but if it's for a single adult as opposed to a disabled child, you can see how that gets crowded out. So again, I think I explained that before. I'm explaining it again. I completely disagree with the way you say I vilify. I don't. I certainly am not a fan of government because government, I believe, causes or exacerbates more problems than it solves. And again, it does so in healthcare. Third-party payer systems takes consumerism out of that, takes the benefits of free market competition. We'd be far more satisfied with healthcare if people paid pretty much out of their pocket for most of healthcare, and insurance was covered, was there to cover the catastrophic, things that insurance should be designed as opposed to setting up a system, a third payer system. It just doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It's not working. Okay, I think it's obvious. But Melinda, thanks for being on the line. Appreciate the question.